of International Lacrosse U19 Men's Lacrosse World Championships. This game featuring Team Australia and Team USA. We ask that you remain standing and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthems.
Good afternoon, lacrosse fans. Welcome inside Percy Perry Stadium as we get set for more U19 World Field Lacrosse Championships from the city of Coquitlam here in the province of British Columbia in the country of Canada. On Sports Canada TV, brought to you by Novus. I am Jake Elliott as we get set for a good one here. It's Team Australia taking on Team USA, who kicked off the tournament in fine fashion with a 12-5 victory over the host team, the Canadians, on Thursday night. This will be the first contest for Australia, so lots of new names and numbers for yours truly to learn. I'll be joined shortly by Andy Watson. And then coming up later tonight, it's England and Canada. That'll be a 7:30 Pacific time start. Yes, thanks for hopping on board here for some lacrosse. High overcast skies, not a whole lot of wind to speak of, and fairly dry conditions. Unlike we saw on Thursday night, yesterday a pretty beautiful day here in Coquitlam. Yeah, looks like the skies will hold off here for the time being for this one. USA 1-0 against the Crocodiles of Australia, who make their 2016 debut. And fans, as always, if you want to be interactive during the webcast, I fully encourage it. You can find me via Twitter at twitter.com/PXP, the number 4 sports. PXP for sports is where you can find me. As Andy Watson will throw the headset on here. Eventually, Andy Watson will throw the headset on as soon as he gets his headset cord untangled. As USA will wear their whites here, and the Crocodiles of Australia will be in their yellows with the green shorts. Andy Watson, another fun-filled day for yourself, and look forward to a good one here between USA and Australia.
You know, It's been an awesome day of lacrosse. This should be a good game. The Aussie fans have been sitting here for about an hour and a half, getting primed, putting up their flags. And this morning, we started off with Mexico and Germany.
13-0, I believe, in that one.
But the fans, like the Mexican fans, they didn't have a ton to cheer about today in
They
terms
were
of
unreal.
offense, but they were unreal. They were making so much noise today. It was pretty phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the week. And even though there's been some very one-sided games, the growth of the game and the camaraderie that we're seeing, it's been outstanding. And I know Australia fans are going to give Mexico and Germany a run for their money.
James in a bit of a panic here. Our PA announcer looking for some copy to read before the beginning of this game as the lineups are underway and just about to bust apart here. As I believe it's going to be Klan that gets the start again here, Andy Watson, as he went the distance for Nick Myers in the opener and was very strong. As Willie Klan gets back-to-back starts. And in the other end for Australia, it'll be Luke Dobson, big-bodied goaltender. As Australia will work left to right across your screen here on Sports Canada TV. USA in white, Australia in the yellow and green. And just about set to go here for the afternoon game from Coquitlam. Teams at center, down and set, blow the whistle. Let's play some lacrosse. We're underway as Australia will come up with first possession, and excited to see how these Crocodiles do against what has to be considered the favorites in the 7-time defending champions, USA. But off to a pretty good start here. And across center they come with ease.
This is an Australia team that has been preparing for almost 2 years for this tournament. And I remember when, from a marketing and communication standpoint, you get excited when you have the first team announcement. They were the first team out of the gate, and they have had some fair certainty in terms of what they've wanted to do and what kind of experience they want to have. Bottom line, they want to finish higher than they have in the past.
Well, I was watching Australia quite closely during the warm-ups, and they're a very vocal group, lots of communication, and it looks like a very cohesive Australian unit as well. And we'll see if they play together. They're going to need to play their best lacrosse to hang in here with the USA today, no question. Here is Panting. Kind of wondering what time it is down under right now, Andy Watson. I don't know if you know that off the top of your head. I should probably open my iPhone clock and have a look. But if you know, you can find me via Twitter at PXP for Sports. Let me know.
I think they're a day ahead, a couple hours behind.
Okay.
Maybe. So it's Sunday anyway. I know that much.
All right.
Sunday morning, maybe. Hopefully.
Well, Sunday fun day possibly here for Australia as they have a good long possession in the works here.
Hashtag Canadian ignorance, eh?
As Junior Purdie, just at 9 a.m. Okay. So it changes a little bit in the country, but it is Sunday morning in Australia. So thanks for getting up here with us today as you watch your Crocodiles on offense here. And in no hurry, here comes Panting now. Ducks inside. And Klan forced to make a really good stop off a good alley dodge there from Panting. And Australia gets the ball right back here. And they do not look like they're in awe one bit of this USA squad right now, Andy Watson.
No, extremely hungry, well prepared. They've had a couple days just to sit around and, sometimes you wonder, is that going to give a team jitters as they get anxious? But they look mentally focused, and even just that play there to avoid the offside, make sure that everything stayed onside. They've definitely shown some very good discipline and concentration early on here.
Head coach Lee Vickery, and I mentioned Junior Purdie out there, I believe, following in his father's footsteps way back when. And here comes USA on the break. It's Sims, finds the open man Sowers, into the stack it goes. Low shot from Mathias. Rebound chance is stopped as well, as Australia gets possession back, and a round of applause from the fans here as they slam the door on the U.S. 2-3 times there on the doorstep. And a rousing of applause from the Australian faithful who have come out in droves here to Percy Perry Stadium today. And We saw this ride of USA give Canada fits on Thursday. So far, Australia 1 for 1 on the clear. And Panting to center. Excuse me, that's 32 in yellow. Or is it? As maybe we have a late roster change on the jersey. Or maybe I'm just half blind.
One good thing is at least these numbers are relatively easy to see.
There you
here.
go. Yes. Not so much for my 43-year-old eyes, anyway. It's more from about, what do you figure? We're back off the field here.
Probably
100 yards?
Yeah, about 100 yards.
From the near sideline, that is.
We're looking for a good optical lens sponsor, I think, Jake.
Probably should throw the scopes on. This is Liam Hood. And he's guarded up by Tyler Dunn. From behind the cage, short stick on short stick. Here comes the double. And they'll sag back into the middle for help. Junior Purdie. Where's number 9 here for the Crocs? And this is sort of what USA did to Canada on Thursday, Andy, is just long offensive possessions and then capitalized on their chances when they finally did go to goal as we approach the 5-minute mark here of quarter 1. Just one down low here and everybody up top.
They got the stall on right now on Australia.
So here we go. Got to keep it in the box if you're the team in yellow. Liam Hood. Matthew Wood. Left-handed power drive. Trying to get around his man, trying to pry that ball loose and force them into a bad pass. Nice little pirouette out of trouble as the Aussies converge, but here's numbers now for USA. Big long pull on the run and a high shot goes well wide. But Australia, and they're going to say no backup there, Andy. It looked like the States had the step, but they'll give it back to the Crocodiles.
Well, yard sale out in midfield, and one of the Australia players tripped over the restraining line.
It looked like he might have rolled his ankle a little bit too.
Good.
He's on the limp, and I don't think he wants to accept it. But he's definitely not running properly now. That's number 8 in yellow.
Luke Walton.
Luke Walton.
Ooh, physical play out there.
That's not the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers.
No,
Andy
different
Wilson.
Luke Walton. Hashtag celebrity.
I want to clarify that.
But yeah, no, the play on the line that you were referring to before we saw Mr. Walton trip there and injure himself a little bit, it's the closest to the line where the ball went out, as Brent Coulombe so nicely reminded us the other day watching from Ontario. But that's a rule that a lot of people may not know watching it.
That USA ride again, and there's the opening goal of the game. As they turn the ball over and make the Aussies pay. 1-0 USA. As you see the strip from Mathias there. And then finds number 14 inside, Alex Roesner for the tally.
Full value for the assist there for Mathias. And you talked about it before, Jake. That ride is going to be so crucial in the United States game plan today.
And a clean face-off win. That coming out of the stick of Henningsen, who had a pretty solid day against Inaccio as he split draws with Feliciani.
Team USA's first goal of the game scored by
This is Conrad, who had a couple of goals in that opening game. Tim Kelly, the captain, who had 3 leading Team USA. And now the goal scorer, Roesner. And now it's USA's turn to chew up some time on offense here. And this is what the States like to do. They like to drive from this top left alley dodge here for Kelly. Down low it goes. Roesner. And now Brad Smith. Have you noticed I'm barely looking at my rosters now, Andy Watson?
Yeah, Jake, you got it down.
There's a 2-0 goal for USA.
Beautiful, beautiful goal.
Real patient and good execution here for USA as the feed comes from behind for Roesner. Got his D-man hung up. And then found the cutter. I believe it was Sowers.
Yeah, it looked like Sowers coming through the middle there. Two heads turned, focusing on the ball at X, and Sowers found a seam through the middle, able to get it, pop it home, quick stick.
So they either like to drive from up top, Andy, or they try and get that ball to X and behind the goal and try and get that D-man caught up in the crease. And then look for cutters coming down the alleys.
Got simultaneous fouls happening on the draw. I think both guys probably went early, so they'll do the draw again.
They do not get waved out like they do in hockey. They just get to redo it.
Both guys are guilty, or sometimes with the draw speed and the skill on face-offs, sometimes it's hard to tell who cheated first. So
their reaction time, I mean, the way they time the whistles from the officials is just incredible. I'd like to actually see if at some point, like sports science could put a clock on reaction times for face-off guys.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I think it'd be a pretty interesting sight to see.
Well, I remember Chris Hall, one of my former coaches, a legend here in Canada. He used to time reaction speed, and that's who he would put on face-offs. I had absolutely no skill, but that's how I ended up taking draws. Australia
back in possession here. And a long pass out. Griffin Nicholas. As Jordan Campbell will slide into the stack here on top of the crease. Pius Beaujeu, one of the tougher names to pronounce for these Aussies. Fairly straightforward. That's what you gotta love, like Scotland and England and Australia. No worries. And then you get into Hong Kong and Taiwan and you run into a little bit of trouble. Hard wrap checks. Two hands on the stick, you can clamp down on it. And nice defense there from Jack Rowlett.
Forcing Australia to call a timeout.
Indeed, as they didn't want to lose possession, and Rowlett was all over his man. So Australia will call timeout, just down 2-0 here, and that's more than Canada could say at this point of the game on Thursday.
Yeah, and I think the advantage maybe for Australia is they've had one game to watch the United States, whereas I think for the U.S., this Australian team, widely and relatively unknown to them. Not like you can go and do a scouting mission down under. Although that'd be a road trip I'd take without any hesitation.
I think I'd probably sign up for that scouting trip if I had the option.
Jake, an observation here, I think, and despite the geography and how close we are to the U.S. border here, I think the Aussie fans are outnumbering the United States fans.
It wouldn't surprise me, that much. I think being early in the tournament, if you're going to come from Australia, you're probably going to come for the full 10 days. But being from the States, I think if you're going to come, you probably wait until early next week and spend the 5-7 days instead of the full 10.
I don't know, the Canadian dollar being so low. Throw a little politics into the sports broadcast.
Yes. What are we trading at right now? About 70?
76,
okay.
yeah. Not good for my equity funds.
Wow.
Anyway, we digress.
Yes, we do.
Earlier in the day, for those that missed it, some terrific lacrosse.
Yeah, run down some scores if you got it, Andy. I don't have it at my fingertips, but I can probably make it happen.
Hong Kong just played on the stadium right before us. They were playing Korea. 5-4 lead China was just playing Korea. 5-4 lead at the half for China, and then they won out and scored 10 unanswered in the second half. China looking good, making their debut here. They have a couple BC kids on the team. In the first game of the day, Germany beat Mexico 13-0. We talked a little bit earlier about how loud the crowd was in that one. Excellent fan support from both teams. And Hong Kong picking up its first win of the tournament with a 15-1 win over Taiwan. Taiwan's goal not scored until late in the fourth quarter.
The USA, Patrick Foley causes the turnover on Keegan Davies out of the timeout. That's not exactly what they wanted. And across the line quickly And moving well is Bryan Costabile. Costabile, I should say. And now USA looking to make it 3-0. And this man was the quarterback all Thursday night. Michael Sowers working from behind that cage. And we made the remark, Andy, that I don't think he came off the field once, if at all.
No, Superman. Maybe that could be a new hashtag for him. He was so good in that game and just really all over the field. A little Energizer Bunny. And some amazing skill. And I saw a couple articles on him throughout the last 48 hours. He's very well respected and well liked by the coaches in the U.S. college circuit.
Roesner. Sowers.
Australia lucky not to get called on a off-ball contact in front of the net with a U.S. player trying to cut through. Lots of stick contact away from the play.
This is Bernhardt. Sowers, a Princeton man. So, you know, he's got some intelligence to go along with that skill. From behind the goal, Mathias. This is done. Bernhardt. Looking for cutters once again. And good D this time from the Crocodiles. And they outlet quickly. Trying to force the tempo here, and we'll see how much Australia wants to run against this American team. But the States so fast, they get back in time, and almost a sloppy turnover there, but they maintain possession.
You know, one thing I will always remember about Australian teams is the work ethic and the long-term athletic, I guess you could call it, what's in the tank for them. But they're a team that seems to be able to outlast other teams and really compete in the fourth.
Yeah, fitness never an issue for Australia. Now, I don't think it will be for USA either. I think all these kids take the game so seriously now. It's, you know, it's not the late 80s, early 90s anymore where you just got it done off your skill. These guys train year-round for this now. And they know they can make a future playing lacrosse and make a living. So, you know, there's high goals to reach, and this obviously a big pinnacle for a lot of these guys, but probably have higher aspirations of going on to play Division I college or pro lacrosse.
Yeah, and actually I'm surprised that there aren't. I mean, I know for...
There's Panting inside, and good late check.
Awesome defense.
Just as he was about to pull the trigger, that was roll it again. And now we have an advantage being played as just powering through the Aussie defense into a triple team now, finally knocked down.
2 flags coming here. There's going to be a push on the back and then the initial slash.
Aussies don't like it. And man, oh man, did Tyler Dunn ever take some punishment here as you watch it again? Just lowers the shoulder on one man. There's solid check from Panting, but I believe it's this late last one coming right here, and he did look like he was in front of him a little bit, but looked like Dunn was kind of going down on his own volition there as well. So,
yeah, so 2 players off for Australia, 1 for a 30-second push, 1 for a 1-minute slash.
Yeah,
so
this is deadly here now for USA. You don't want to give them these type of opportunities. Smith will pick it up. Looks down to the crease. Fake shot now, Kelly. He's denied. Good stop. And tight there. As look at them swarm to the ball and converge, but open men down low now, and forget about it. It's in the back of the goal.
Yeah, the swarm works really well until the ball pops out and you've got a 2-on-0. Absolutely, completely unfair situation there for the Australian keeper, Luke Dobson, out of the Moreland Lacrosse Club in Australia. But you take a look, see the celebration after the goal there. I'm actually very impressed at how much Australia's compressing down low and in the middle. It's pretty good defense, but
well, you think back to that early shift from Panting, who was denied by Klan with just a fantastic save, and I know it's 3-0 USA. Their last one coming on a 2-up man advantage. I mean, Australia is definitely not out of their element here. They're, I wouldn't say a level playing field with USA, but they're definitely in the same league.
Yeah. Here's the pass from Roesner off the little scrum there, and Sowers is not going to miss that in tight. He even had.
I think he might have been able to tuck that one home.
Yeah, maybe even me. I don't know though. It's pretty good skill level here. You know, one thing that's impressed me from Australia, though, is they haven't shown any sort of fear. And they haven't shown any sort of impatience. And sometimes when you're down early, that can happen. They match up well from a size and speed standpoint with the U.S. And I think, you know, just based on the possessions we've seen, I think they will. I think they'll be able to stay in this one, maybe a little bit different than what we saw with the Iroquois England game last night.
Well, Luke Dobson will head back to the Australian goal, and the two teams will make their way back out to center here. Don't forget, fans, if you want to join us on the webcast here and let us know where you're listening or watching in from, maybe who your favorite player is, who you think is going to win the tournament, any questions, comments, concerns you may have, send them my way at PXP for Sports via Twitter. PXP, the number 4 Sports. Good face-off win for
Timothy
Team
Graham.
Australia, but they turn it over and it ends up in the back of their goal. Sowers again. That's a tough one right there for Australia. Come out of the timeout, you win the draw, and then turn it right over into a deadly scorer in Sowers.
Well, you know, just an errant pass there, probably a little bit telegraphed. Timothy Graham on the draw, does the job to get the possession. Michael Sowers sniffs that one out for the United States. And
those last two coming left-handed for
Yeah.
Sowers, who is predominantly a righty, I believe.
doesn't really seem to matter with him, though. He's so skilled with both hands.
So our clock on the screen showing 2 minutes, but our clock on the scoreboard showing about 4. So I'm going to guess we're probably somewhere right in the middle of that, Andy Watson,
Yeah.
around there. Just over 3 minutes to go, I believe. We'll reset that. Thank you. As remember, the clock on your screen is not official, folks. It's just a guideline for you, as they keep the official time down at the scorer's table in between the two teams' benches. Gordon Jr. Purdie. This is Jordan Campbell. 4-0 USA. And Australia looking to get on the board here.
Team USA's third goal scored by number 2, Mathias Sowers. Assist to
Purdie
number
Jr.
14, Alex Roesner.
And now Keegan Davies.
15 minutes, 2 seconds.
Some solid flow on Davies.
Team USA's fourth goal scored unassisted by number 2.
Hard whack there, and that is completely legal when you got 2 hands on your stick like that. It's when you take the one hand off that you can't have that big wind up on the slash.
Although that doesn't stop some players.
Fair enough.
Take the first one, see what happens, right?
But good hard work on defense here from Patrick Foley.
Yeah, and he had a great game against Canada, too. He's been one of the top defenders in this tournament, no question.
Well, I think that's really where the game was won and lost for Canada. You know, I thought they were even in the face-off dot. They were pretty strong on defense, but the long poles really kind of dominated the attackmen of Canada.
Officials have put the stall on here on Australia, trying to get a sustained possession, maybe to give some of their guys some rest. And there's a flag. Good call. I was wondering when this was going to get flagged.
A lot of contact in the stack, not letting guys run clean.
Yeah, and it's happened at both ends of the field, so good for the officials to crack down on that.
Chance and a goal. Junior Purdie opens the scoring for Australia. And it comes on the delayed call as he burns one past Klan into the top corner.
Well, you know that you've got a man up coming. You might as well take an opportunity. And Foley, a pretty good one-on-one matchup.
I mean, he had top side on him, and the double was there from Smith. That's just a great shot. And not much Klan could do with that.
Here they have the Aussie, oi, oi, oi chant in the background here.
I'm sure they're picking that up back home here on Sports Canada TV, brought to you by Novus. And first quarter, about just over a minute to go here, and suddenly we kind of feel like we got ourselves a lacrosse game. Starting to darken a little bit over Percy Perry Stadium.
I've just stopped looking at the weather. You can't rely on the weather forecast here.
Well, it came down pretty good overnight through the wee hours of the morning. And usually you won't just get consistent rain for like 8-10 hours at a time. It'll rain for 3 or 4, then it'll stop for 3 or 4, and then it'll come back. And we got a nice little window here right now for USA, Australia. We'll see what happens this evening for England and Canada.
This Roesner-Sowers combination's been lethal. They've been in on 3 of the 4 goals. Well, actually all 4 goals, but they've teamed up on 3 of the 4 goals already.
This is Roesner.
Purdie Jr.
Sorry, I keep calling him Roesner. Roesner, excuse me. Junior, Purdie. Did I call him Purdie Jr. earlier?
No, Purdie Jr.'s right.
Okay. So you're giving me the switch around there.
Giving you the chalk talk on the program.
They got it written down as Junior Purdie. So.
Yeah, it sounds better though. That could trend.
Flag down coming to Australia. Good stop there from Dobson. Here's the whistle. And I think it'll come right at the quarter buzzer as that late shot coming as time expired. So 20 in the books and 60 to go here from Coquitlam. And another late flag coming in. I think this is going to come to the Australian bench for a little overzealousness on the coaching staff. We'll straighten it out when we come back. This is U19 World Field Lacrosse Championships from Coquitlam on Sports TV, brought to you by Novus. We're back in 2. All right, lacrosse fans, welcome back inside Percy Perry Stadium. It is Roesner, as I get confirmation on that. 4-1, USA leads Team Australia, the Crocodiles. And they will start this second quarter 2 men short here as they picked up a foul and then picked up one from the bench at the end of the quarter. So as they were in the first, they'll be down 2 men here. And playing with fire or Australia if you're going to give USA a 2-man advantage. Let's play some lacrosse. We're underway here in the second quarter. This is Mathias stepping in. Now Mac O'Keefe. Goal line extended as quick passing here from USA. Smith loading. O'Keefe wants it, takes it. And that one hit the pipe and stayed out as it rolls all the way out to the center line and out of bounds.
Nice to see Lee Breen out here, local Vancouver area referee, is the crew chief here for this officiating crew. Refereeing's been really good so far in the first 3 days of this tournament.
Yes, I've obviously known Lee for a long time and has really kind of worked his way up through the ranks of officiating, and it's great to see him on a world stage right in his backyard. Feet into the stack, look out, in it goes. Guess who? Number 14 in white, that's Roesner again. And USA on the man advantage make it 5-1. As I believe they should get back to even strength after that latest goal.
Yeah, it looks like that penalty was released.
And thanks for that, Dave. Just letting me know it is Purdie Jr., not Junior Purdie.
Junior Purdie almost sounds like a candy mint.
I did it.
Yeah.
As back to center we go. And this time, Henningsen yanks it clean. And here comes USA. Into the back of the goal it goes. Bryan Costabile with a quick strike right off the faceoff.
Notre Dame's going to be really happy with him. What an amazing speed and power. He's a typical power forward. Excellent release and just cranks it past the goaltender.
Just blew it past Dobson. I got to believe there's some relationship there with CJ Costabile.
Yeah.
Not positive, but you can always let me know via Twitter at PXP for Sports. CJ, a member of the senior men's national team, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Denver, I believe, in 2014.
And another clean face-off win. Henningsen. Not quite the Port Moody bounce pass, but Mac O'Keefe handled it cleanly regardless.
Looks like Australia's packed into a zone here. See if U.S. tries to get some outside shots going.
And they are 6-on-6. And speaking of 6, it's 6-1 USA as we approach 3 minutes into the second quarter. Bernhardt in the middle. Conrad will clear through. Here comes the right alley dodge from Conrad. Takes it wide, and I don't know if they're going to call that a shot or a pass. That looked like a pass to me, and they give that to USA. I think Conrad able to sell that at the last second. And that shot goes out wide and out of bounds. Sowers there for backup. As USA picks up the tempo here a little bit now. Sowers double comes. Spins away from it, feet across the crease. Oh, what an effort from Mathias. Jumped to reach that one and put it in the goal all in one motion. Pretty to watch from USA. It's 7-1.
Maybe a slow start for the United States, but they've certainly exploded with their offense. What a beautiful pass.
I mean, that takes some ability right there to do what Mathias did. It didn't really look all that impressive, but I can assure you it was.
Yeah, and to be able to have the balance and the speed to be able to still get that shot away and to shoot it with accuracy. 7-1 U.S. lead. This is early in the second quarter here, shaping up to be a little bit of a lopsided result. Maybe more lopsided, I think, than the first 10 minutes would have indicated.
It doesn't really feel like a 7-1 game, but it is. And Australia, with 2 times they've taken 2 penalties at the same time, and you just cannot go down 6-on-4 against USA. They're going to score every time.
Team USA's 7th goal, scored by number 4, Simon Mathias. Assist to number 2, Michael Sowers. Time of the goal, 3 minutes, 34 seconds.
Which certainly taking the crowd out of the game.
Absolutely. I just want to check some numbers here on USA. In particular, 14 in white. Roesner with 2 and 2 so far. And 3 goals for Sowers.
Yeah, and it's, you know, another area I've been watching closely throughout this tournament.
Chance, good stop from Dobson. Sorry, Andy Watson.
No, excellent timing, Jake. Every time you think there's going to be a slowdown, there's another opportunity for the U.S. on offense. No, I was just going to make a comment about discipline. The United States is 3 for 4 on the power play right now, and, you know, that's the difference between a 7-1 and a 4-1 lead right now.
Absolutely. And now Australia will try and clear the ball here. We have a man open far side. Free lane to run. Pass came a little early, but good handle nonetheless from Liam Hood, but ran himself into trouble, and that's what USA will do. Sometimes they'll actually let you clear that ball, think you're all safe and good, and then all of a sudden the double comes out of nowhere.
A wide open player here for the U.S. on the near wing.
Good ball to Dox Aitken. As we cross 6 minutes here in quarter 2. We play 4 20s. And the final 3 minutes of quarter 4 will be stop time.
Australia still packed into a zone here.
Yeah, in Australia, I mean, USA will take this, right? They're the ones up six goals here. They don't have any urgency to get to goal. Chance coming here, maybe. Open man, high shot, and that one goes wide. As Conrad really stepped into it, but missed the target. Sowers with a step. Spinning is done. Here's Timmy Kelly down to the crease. Mathias on the drive, gets underneath, and Dobson there for the rejection.
Oh, Australian player down. He got hurt on the jump there.
And no blow play down. I think that's the same guy that tripped on the turf, and I think he just re-aggravated the initial injury. That's Luke Walton. And in some discomfort trying to get to the Australian bench, and finally goes down. He's going to need some attention. No, Australians get a little Canadian in them, don't they, Andy Watson? I mean, that's something you'd see. Those guys don't want to stay down. And let's check the replay here and see if we can tell what happens to Watson. Oh, again, he just stepped on a foot and tweaked that ankle over. That was, I believe, already been tweaked once. And, man, I know it's just a rolled ankle, but I hate seeing that visual of ankles going over. Just, I've done it so many times myself that I know the pain, and it makes me cringe every time I see it. But it's like a trainer. You can't look away. You got to see it. A drop there, but nobody close enough to turn it over. But ball's still on the deck here.
Guess who that was? That was Sowers on that ball.
They are just vicious on their ride. Australia beats it this time, though, barely. There's the Port Moody, Andy Watson. You're wondering, what's the Port Moody bounce pass? That's the short hopper into the shins, ladies and gentlemen.
Modified Suey, potentially.
Panting, who looks to be one of Australia's stronger players. We'll take it deep here. Looks like he wants to drive from below the goal line. He's got it in the right hand now. And looks like he wants to get rid of it, but nobody open.
Australia had a player wide open in the middle, and this guy couldn't get off his defender to make the pass.
And after a long time with the ball in his pocket, Panting finally gives off. Keegan Davies. Lights not quite on here at Percy Perry Stadium. I would expect them to come on in short order as it's starting to darken here. And do they come on automatically, Andy? Is it something to do with light, or does somebody need to push the button?
That is one of Coquitlam's sweet mysteries. I'm actually not sure.
Good chance inside, and Klan hasn't been tested for a while, but when he's been called upon, he has been good.
Although I will say Australia, I think, starting to find some success off the stack. They've had some guys open, wide open in front. That's the third time on that offensive set. And that time it was Jordan Campbell who was open for the shot.
Costabile will head for a change. And USA will pull wide here as Tyler Dunn takes it up top. Here's Mac O'Keefe. Mathias works from X now. As he got Sowers, who will replace Mathias. And here he is. Wants to generate the offense from this position right here. Singleton marked up on him. Wide open is Mac O'Keefe, and somehow stays out of the crease. No, they're going to wave it off. I think that's a good call from the official. O'Keefe just one too many fakes. And the tippy toes across the white line.
Yeah, and that's really where the single side position comes in so critically. The lead official would not have been able to see that without the help from the single side. Excellent mechanics there from the referees to pick up the crease call. I will say, though, Sowers, you drive down and double Sowers, and every time he still seems to be able to get that pass away and find the open man.
Yeah, and he knows where the open man is going to be depending on where the slide comes from. And against this Australian team. It looks like it's the cross-crease feed that they're looking for. And Dobson has to play a role in that as the Australian goaltender to take away that cross-crease feed. You still got to stay on your short side pipe to guard that short side shot, but your stick has to be active enough to try and break up that cross-crease feed, because if it gets through, it's game over. Australia down 6 here, still in this thing with 8:45 to go in the second quarter, but it's been a while now since they've found the back of the goal. And they got the short stick matchup now. This is Pius Baiju.
Got Brad Smith watching him on the one-on-one.
Size on size here for USA. And just not much happening for Australia. I mean, USA will take this all day, and here comes the stall on now. And maybe this is part of Australia's plan. The longer they have the ball, the less time USA has with it. But now the stall on, and you got to make the most of your opportunities. Purdie Jr.
Lots of contact again in front of the net when they had the stack there. Interesting to see that being let go here by the veteran officiating crew.
Well, I don't mind it if they're not going to call it, as long as they stay consistent with it.
Yeah.
And the boys can get a feel of how it's going to be called or not called, and know what to expect. Here comes the drive. Goal line extended, trying to turn the corner, find an open man. Low shot, and that one got blocked. And it's picked up quickly by USA. I think they got the look they wanted, but just a good shot block by the USA D as Matt O'Keefe through the middle. Smith wide open here, loads and fires, and Dobson with the stop, but flags come in.
"30-second technical for a push on the back, so Australia will be man down. And this lethal U.S. power play, which is 3 for 4 thus far in the game, will go back to work.
Should probably throw out the email address as well. I know not everybody on Twitter, Andy Watson. If you got anything you want to get off your mind, you can get at me through my email as well. It's the same as the Twitter handle, pxpforsports@gmail.com. pxpforsports@gmail.com if you want to send me an email. Halftime approaching here. Up top, Matt O'Keefe. Got the fancy die job on his stick. Skip pass into the stack, and that one tipped off a stick and right into the crease of Dobson, who outlets. Little trouble with that one, but Australia will get it back here. Good stick check. Got to move this ball now. And they don't do it in time, but I think Australia gets the timeout just in time. And they will have possession here with 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. Jake Elliott, Andy Watson with you from the 2016 U19 World Field Lacrosse Championships from Coquitlam, British Columbia, as you are watching on Sports Canada TV, brought to you by Novus.
A little bit of a swirling wind has come into Coquitlam as the skies darken. But a good lacrosse game here. Excellent skill here in the blue division. Of course, later on, Canada and England will be playing as two teams looking for their first victory of the tournament. And a busy day tomorrow as well. We got a full slate of games tomorrow. And hopefully you can tune in on that if you haven't
Iroquois,
purchased.
Canada, yeah. I know for sure. As I got that one circled down, and that's going to be a real interesting game tomorrow.
And then the Australia-England game, and I mean, on paper, based on what we've seen so far, that could be the ticket out of the semifinal bracket.
So two good ones coming up at 4, Australia and England, and then at 7:30, it's Canada and the Iroquois. Earlier in the day, another full slate of games: Korea and Ireland, Taiwan and Israel, Germany and Scotland, which should be a pretty good contest, I would think.
Yep.
Hong Kong and Mexico, that heated rivalry renews between the Mexicans and Hong Kong. And China, Korea. Nope, that's wrong. That's yesterday. That's today. So, yeah, those are the other guys. Korea, Ireland, Taiwan, Israel, Germany, Scotland, Hong Kong, Mexico, and then the two big ones, Australia and England, Canada, Iroquois to kick off, or to cap off, I should say, Sunday.
Fun day Sunday.
Here at the World Games, which, if you're scoring at home, is day 4 of 10.
Not that we're counting. Love it, though, to be able to be here and watch lacrosse.
Yeah, nothing else I'd rather be doing than this right here, right now. Australia out of the timeout now. Davies. As he has Terry Lindsay defensive midi on him. I think we just found another man for our all-name team, Andy Watson.
Yeah, Ryan Hockey from East Fremantle Lacrosse Club in Western Australia. Beautiful part of the world from what I understand, near Perth there. Got to get out there. Still haven't been to Australia.
So me either. Me either, and it's on the list, obviously, as I scan across to the far sideline and see Luke Walton testing that ankle, doing 30, 40-yard dashes along the sideline to see if he is still good to go. Looked like he was moving okay. That'll be a solid tape job, and I'm sure excellent trainers here for Team Australia. Four and a half on the official score, or an unofficial scoreboard, I should say.
I will fully expect to see the stall come back on here anytime.
Well, I think they're just going to do it every time until they get the stall put on and then go to goal. And this is Hockey in the corner. And I mean, part of it is USA not giving them much defensively, but the other thing is I think they're just trying to take clock away from that USA offense.
Yeah, here's the stall now.
They got to keep it in now. They got it up high.
I did get some clarification, which we can talk about later, about how those tiebreakers potentially could work down the road. Goals for, goals against really doesn't become a factor until significantly further down the road.
Okay.
The head-to-head matchups and then head-to-head with the teams that you're tied with would be the first few criteria.
So it's down the list as far as when it'll come into play, but it could. This is Bryan Panting. Looking for an opening here. Nothing there yet. Stall still on here for the Crocs. Looks like Panting wants to drive here. As it's Lindsay still guarded up on him. Davies. Good move from Davies. Turned his man. And now Ryan Hockey.
Great communication by that U.S. defense. Jack Rowlett calling out the commands there.
And a lot of that will usually come from the goaltender, but if you got a guy like Rowlett on your back end who's obviously real dialed in and orchestrating that defensive unit. And it's been Purdie Jr., the only man to score here for Australia. He's got the ball now. But he does have a long stick on him. And this is why I want to see a shot clock in field lacrosse, Andy Watson.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm all good once you put the, you know, you want to let them play, then call the stall. After a certain amount of time with the stall on, I think that's when, at the international level, you need to put the shot clock on. And I thought Dylan Ward had a great point. Team Canada's national goaltender. It's got to be a flag, and finally it comes in. Maybe a little help from the Australian crowd. Hard shot and a stop from Klan. Big rebound up for grabs, but whistle will go. But I thought Dylan Ward had a great point when he said that at the FIL level, yes, probably the blue division has the talent for the shot clock to be effective, but it's the lower tiered countries that will probably suffer because of that.
Yes.
But with that being said, I think, putting that on them as well will make them speed up the game. It'll make them think faster. It'll make them react faster as well, and it'll make them improve adjusting to that shot clock happening.
Well, I kind of like the concept that you come up with, and I don't know if this is
I
something really well thought out.
No, I just kind of threw that off the top of my head.
I do like that. Once the stall's on, then maybe you have a shot clock. Maybe you have a minimum amount of time where you can.
Yeah, give them a minute with the stall, or 30 seconds, or 45, or whatever it is, and then put the minute shot clock on, or a 45-second shot clock, whatever you want to do. I don't think you need to make it 30 or 35, but at least force the issue to some regard.
Yeah, and I mean, very least. You get away from what we just experienced there, which was 3 minutes of essentially
well, it's like watching paint dry. Yeah. I mean, seriously, to watch teams just kind of pass it around the outside is, I mean, it's not enjoyable to watch for anybody.
USA penalty for number 18.
I believe we do have a penalty coming to Team USA, Austin Sims.
Team USA timeout, both at time 18 minutes, 43 seconds.
When the stall on there, I had enough time to notice the spider spinning a web just in front of our broadcast location.
Yes. Itsy bitsy.
Quite exciting. For those of you at home, you can tell that.
Well, I'm wondering where he's actually connected to, because I mean, there's nothing around where this guy is hanging from, about 50 feet. It's a long way down for a spider.
Cirque du Soleil spider.
I don't know how we got that job.
If you have an interesting story you want to share with us.
Yes, get at me via Twitter at PXP for Sports, or you can do the same at pxpforsports@gmail.com.
Or if you have any good spider stories, maybe. Anyway, I digress.
Here we go.
Crocodile stories, maybe.
Crikey. And an interception there for the U.S. And that's a situation for Australia where you're probably not going to get a whole lot of man-up opportunities, but when you do, you got to make the most of them. And that was just... They didn't even get a shot. They just threw the ball right into a USA defender's stick, and give him some credit for making the play, but
you can't make mistakes against this team. The United States have been near perfect in their 2 games, and they are really showing that they are the cream of the crop of this tournament right now.
Workmanlike. Well, I know it was up against England last night, but that Iroquois outfit, I think, make some noise before this tournament comes to an end. Just so much firepower up front. And Armstrong looked good in goal. Their defense was solid, obviously only allowing a couple. As into the late stages here of quarter 2 now, clock is on the field. And look for a late stab here from the USA. Sowers trying to create. Finds an open man, sidearm shot, and Dobson the save. Will he look for the Gilman? Looks right up the middle of the field, and I don't know if Australia has enough time. They do not, as the first half is in the books. Still within striking distance for the Aussies, but lots of work to do once the second half commences. We are at the break. You're watching the 2016 U19 World Field Lacrosse Championships right here on Sports Canada TV, presented by Novus. We will take a 10-minute break and we'll come back with second half action between Australia and USA. The Stars and Stripes lead the Crocodiles by 6, 7-1. We're back in 10. Lacrosse fans, we are back. We are live inside Percy Perry Stadium, getting set for second half action between USA and the Crocodiles of Australia. And it's Aussies who are down by 6 here to start the second half. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in here to Sports Canada TV, brought to you by Novus. As it looks like it'll be Feliziani to take this one. As let's play some lacrosse, we're underway. Welcome back, Andy Watson.
Excellent job by the Croc to get the crowd going. He's trying to get the USA crowd into it.
I don't know if we can get a shot of the mascot down there or not.
Yeah, he was just there live and.
Oh, we had him?
Across the screen.
Okay.
As you were focusing on the game, rightly so, Mr. Elliott.
I do love my mascots. As Taylor Dunn will get things set up here for the States. Good left-handed drive, left the stick out though, and it was checked from behind, and here come the Crocodiles. In the midst of a change, so I don't know if they got numbers, and then they were stripped on the trail check, and the States get it right back.
Tyler Dunn didn't like the fact that he got stripped, so he went the other way and got the ball back. That was excellent pursuit.
Brad Smith, open man, load, sidearm, Dobson with a kick stop. Rebound chance goes wide from Sowers. And Australia on the backup gets possession back.
You know, they are an unbelievable dynamic duo there for the U.S. Roesner and Sowers, almost as good as state stats and Nanticoke yesterday. Dangerous duos of the 2016 U19 lacrosse tournament.
Kind of like us, Sandy Watson.
Yeah, dangerous for sure.
Minute and a half into quarter 3, and thanks for all the comments coming on via social media at PXP for Sports, and also find me at my email address if you so choose that route at pxpforsports@gmail.com. And a couple of comments in praising your color commentary, Andy Watson.
Uh-oh. I'm sorry to scare everyone.
I think it must be your mother watching.
Yep. Paid a couple people to email in, so that's good. Paying dividends. Used all my salary from this volunteer role. This is awesome, though. Like, honestly, 14 teams competing for a world championship, and to be able to do it in your home province, that's pretty outstanding.
Never mind my home province. Right in my backyard, essentially. Grew up my whole life here in the city of Coquitlam, and now just on the outskirts in Port Coquitlam, but actually living a little bit closer to the stadium than I was in my childhood home.
This is a great facility. For those not familiar with it, there's a U19 girls tournament going on right now. There are practices happening on other fields. There's a bunch of fields just on the backside of the stadium here. It's just a terrific facility.
So, legend Denny Stroop inside the facility here today. As, of course, he has one of the best girls lacrosse players on the planet, and Danita Stroop.
Yeah.
And here to watch her and also check out some U19 action. Is it Danita or Danella? I always get that. I believe it's Danita.
I think it's Danita. I think you're right.
Chance here maybe for Australia. As I see, there's been the inception of the Pro Women's Field Lacrosse League now.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
Wilax.
Yeah. Good to see the growth of the game at the women's level. And, you know, in BC, we've seen huge strides in the box game after Selena Lacosta and some of the lower mainland players have been so successful taking that box game into the women's field game in the NCAA.
Here's shot just off the mark from Panting. And Australia real close to being a little lackadaisical there. But the near official will signal Australia, and I'm not so sure about that call. A little cavalier there from the Australian Purdie Jr. But he does get the benefit of the doubt as that ball actually crossed out on the sideline, not the end line. And almost a heads-up run there from the long pole. Or it might even have been Brad Smith to get to the end line in time.
It's great to see, you know, so many of these players, some people that we haven't seen before, and we've seen some Australians in the NLL. Maybe I saw some Stealth people here earlier today. Maybe they're doing some recruiting. This Purdie Jr. would look good in an NLL uniform. That's one guy for sure. Sowers, probably. He'll be eventually a pro if he doesn't end up playing full-time pro field. Roesner. We're very lucky to be able to see these players, the stars of tomorrow, today.
Well, hopefully there comes a day where both leagues, the National Lacrosse League and the Major Lacrosse League, can get on the same page and not have their schedules overlap, so we can see the best players on the planet play in both of these leagues at the highest level.
Fully agreed.
As the Canadians are always going to be there for the box game, there's no question about that, but for the sport and the National Lacrosse League in particular to take it to the next level, we need the best American players playing, and right now that's just not the case with guys like Max Sebald and Paul Rabel and Ned Crotty, and the list goes on.
Stall warning back on here against Australia.
And that forces Australia to turn it over, but a whistle goes, and I think a timeout down on the field called by Nick Myers. There's a break in the action here with 14.5 minutes to go in this third quarter, and no goals to speak of in this second half quite yet. So it's still a 6-goal USA lead, leading Australia 7-1.
Of course, for those of you tuned in right now, if you don't have anything else going on later on, after this game, Canada and England will be playing in what should be a fairly important game for both teams, both winless right now, looking for a win. It's I really do think, though, based on what we've seen so far, Canada, the Iroquois, and the United States, probably the top three in the blue division. And that game on the England-Australia game tomorrow,
it's going to be a big one.
It's going to be huge, because
that's the fourth spot on the line, really.
Yeah, because if you finish fifth in the blue division, that's the best you can finish in the tournament.
Right.
You end up in the bracket, the 5-8 bracket. You're going to buy right through to the 5-8 semifinal.
Right.
So critical right now. I think Australia maybe trying to figure out what they're going to do in their upcoming games. Maybe they're playing a little bit for what's next.
Sure.
Trying to get some offensive sets, trying to get things under their belt that they know that they're going to have to bring out later on, and just see how their personnel work together.
Our PA announcer looks like he needs like a secretary or an assistant over here to get his affairs in order. Scrambling for papers. As the lights have come on here at Percy Perry. And Australia gets play back underway. The double comes immediately at them, and ball just thrown into the middle of the field here. But unable to save it in bounds. But they do get the call here somehow. Griffin Nicholas. Again, USA aggressive on the double team here.
Stall remains on.
As they pull Klan from the cage here. As actually we have a goaltending change, Andy Watson.
Oh, excellent eye there. We got Philip Goss in net out of San Fran.
Northern Cali.
Wonderful to see the growth of the game in California.
Well, that's where I went and played my collegiate field lacrosse. Open net, I should say. As Goss scrambles back to the cage once again, just couldn't get that shot off in time.
Excellent lift there, too, defensively by Patrick Foley.
He attended Sonoma State down in Napa Valley, north of Petaluma, south of Santa Rosa.
Great beer and wine in that part of North America.
Yes, Roanoke Park. Wish I was a wine drinker. I just wasn't. Couldn't force myself to be as hard as I tried.
If you're going to learn how to love wine, that's a good part of the world.
There's a chance, and Purdie Jr. tonight gets his own rebound, and that one deflected wide as well. Flank coming in. And is it going to go against the Crocodiles here? I don't think so. Ball had touched the turf, so they blow play down.
We'll have a 30-second push on the back against the U.S. You know,
should be big here for Australia if they could get one on the man up.
Goss has looked very good since coming in. He's made a couple big saves here for the United States.
This is Matthew Wood to start it.
Stahl stays on the man-up situation here for Australia.
Interesting. Across the top, on the kick back, down to the crease, feet across, and not a little ambitious intended for Wood there, and it was knocked away.
Those are ones you got to get, though. You got to catch that pass.
Well, it was deflected off the long post.
Oh, was it? Okay.
So
good sticks by the U.S. then.
Absolutely, and it was an ambitious pass to get it through that defense as they did. As how about it from Bijou? As the Aussies like that as he gets the high knees going.
10 points for artistic impression.
I think they're going to need to start to lean on Panting here a little bit, and his ability to drive one-on-one is now penalty time over here for U.S. Had a great chance early in the game, weaved his way right through the middle of the defense, but Klan was there to deny. Another Port Moody bounce pass. Will stay in play here. Good check, yard sale. As it knocked the stick right out of Hugh Krantz, who Matt Kavanaugh called the MVP of Thursday night. I don't know if that was a little tongue-in-cheek from Mr. Kavanaugh or not, but maybe just a big Hugh Krantz fan.
Another California product.
He was good on defense, so we'll give him that. Those D guys never get the recognition they probably should.
No. Stats drive everything in terms of coverage, right? So it's hard to write game stories and all the stuff that you see out there online and in the newspapers. Hard to give D guys the props.
Speaking of D guys, here comes one. Feed down to the crease. Sowers has 4. Sent up from Dylan Johnson. Pass was low, but the handle was good from Michael Sowers. And we finally have our first goal here of half number 2, and the States make it 8-1 as you watch the replay here.
Well, excellent job by the long stick midi. Nice little dump, and Sowers got in behind his man.
Had to dig it off the turf to bring it in, but the sure-handed Sowers making no mistake.
I do see Luke Walton back on the field for Australia. He was marking Sowers there. Good to see him back in the game after tweaking that ankle earlier on.
You just wonder how much better would this United States team be with Sapinski in this lineup.
Yeah, that's a big absence for them, obviously, but lots of depth.
Early move from Feliziani. We'll give it to the Crocodiles here. So we've crossed the halfway mark of quarter 3. Pressure coming. That's Noah Lehman. Free ball up for grabs here. And it's Mr. Foley again. And he wants to push the tempo. Here comes Foley. He'll drop it off. And Mathias will pull wide here. Yeah, still rain threatening. No wet stuff quite yet. As the lights start to take effect down here on Center Stadium. Timmy Kelly out there. There's Sowers who wants to go for a run. Everything to the outside right now for the Stars and Stripes. On the top, it's Dox Aitken. They just continue to wheel it around here. You gotta think the stall will be put on in short order here on the United States. Is there a general guideline, Andy Watson, on when that internal clock goes off in the official's head saying kind of, okay, enough, I'm gonna put the stall on?
Yeah, I think after a couple rounds, if there's nothing happening, if
Good
they're
move
not
from
driving.
Bernhardt. Shot goes wide, so I mean, what, like a minute and a half, 2 minutes?
It really depends on what the intent is, and you have to be able to measure the intent. And I mean, the U.S. looks like they're trying to run something off stack, but I think when the ball goes back to X and comes back up again, I think you'll see the stall put on.
Kelly took a bump. Ball comes near center, and look at Foley pounce on it, but he's offside. And will they call the push on the back, or will they call offside? It will be offside USA. to the approval of the crocodile fence.
Looks like there's some disagreement between.
A little debate here at center stripe.
Yeah, good job of the officials to take the time here. I think what originally caused that to happen, the U.S. player did go offside. That was the first thing to happen. So Aussie should be getting the ball here. The push on the back happened after the offside occurred. Yeah, that's the right call by the officiating crew. Good for them to take the extra time and get it right.
Yeah, if you haven't seen any professional women's lacrosse, I'll retweet this right now coming in from UK Lax fan. As he has a beautiful goal of trainer doing her best John Grant impersonation as a goal for the Aussies. A bounce shot to the top corner, and it's 8-2.
Now, he won't get a stat for this, but Griffin Nicholas, the attacker that got mauled behind the net, drew the flag. Purdie Jr. gets the ball up top. And an excellent drive there by Matthew Wood. Nice bouncer.
Oh, that's a great bounce shot. Right off the top of the crease into the top corner.
And they'll now go to the man advantage as it looks like, I believe that was Jack Rowlett that's going to get called for the unnecessary roughness, hitting the guy out of bounds after a loose ball battle.
And they will face it off, however, as it will not be possession for Australia on the foul. Now, what's the rule on that? Is it if it's a 30, you face off? If it's a minute, you get possession?
In
or
this
is it
case,
regardless after a goal, you face it off?
Okay, so goal stops the play. Penalty was already there. Because it was a personal, he'll serve the full minute. If it was a technical, that penalty would have been released.
Just under 6 minutes to go, and a clean face-off win for Feliciani. As Henningsen took the Yeoman's share on Thursday against Canada, Feliciani has taken most of the draws here for USA today and was on a bit of a limp back to the USA bench, however. I'm interested to see how Douglas Jameson from the Iroquois does against a Henningsen or an Anaccio, as he had his way against the English last night.
U.S. doing a good job here to kill off that penalty.
Now, will they put the stall on while you're shorthanded?
You can, theoretically, yes.
But it doesn't happen often.
Doesn't happen often. The nice thing that they've done with the rules lately is that they've really made it a point to try and be consistent with the stall. Quite often you only see it in fourth quarter, 1 or 2 goal game. Now they apply it consistently throughout the game, and I think that's to the benefit of the sport.
And how often does, say, the FIL meet to discuss possible rule changes at the international game?
You know, I don't know specifically in terms of timelines, but I know it's an ongoing discussion. Formal meetings, informal meetings.
And who takes part in those types of meetings?
So there's a competition committee that would discuss that. Obviously the chair of officiating, the chair of competition would have lots of input, but it's you look at it from multiple levels. You know, from a coaching level, from an officiating level, from a player safety angle, from a marketing angle. All those pieces come in together, and at the end of the day, it's a common vision to try and grow the game. And, you know, you have to look at pros and cons, how it's going to help the high performance level, how it helps the development level, what some of the cons could be. So lots of good discussion happening, and I know there's lots of discussion happening right now at this tournament about the future of the game.
Fake shot there from Dunn. And a quick snipe comes from Dox Aitken, making it 9-2 for Team USA.
Yeah, Dox Aitken's had some really good outside speed. Finds a guy, just a nice dodge there to get past Alexander Mercier. And a lovely shot goes in. I think Luke Dobson's getting sick of seeing that ball fired towards him.
A lot of shots, a lot of rubber has come his way now. Just to kind of finish up on the topic, is there any kind of a timeline on when you can make rule changes or how often you can make rule changes? Like, once you make a rule change, does it have to be that way for a certain amount of time? Well,
I know that I don't think there's a strict window on it, but I do know that they just had a series of meetings right before the start of this tournament with all the FIL delegates, and I know that's something that they factor in as the rain is just starting to come down in a light sheet coming in from the north.
Chance coming here for USA. Sowers looking for 5 on the dive. Yes, it will count. As Sowers with authority goes airborne to make it 10-2 Stars and Stripes.
I wonder if this is a Frank Lawrence goal. If it's Purdie, it counts. I thought maybe he was in the crease there, as we might catch the tail end of it here.
As long as the ball in the cylinder before making contact in the crease, you can break the plane.
Great call there by the official, Frankie Fung. In good position to make the call too. Great athleticism though. Michael Sowers, really, Jake, for me, I mean, him and Austin Stats are the two players that I think just stand out in this tournament right now as being unbelievable talents. Although I will say that China has a guy named Curtis Shum that's starting to light it up. I think he had 7 goals earlier today.
Okay. Obviously coming against what you consider a little bit lesser of talent, but nonetheless, he put up 7 in any game. You're doing something right. And here comes Dunn. Got a head of steam. Looks for the trail. One more. Fires, and that one goes wide from Mathias. And just a brief spitting of rain here as it looked like it's held off once again. But it is threatening. As don't forget, Canada and England comes up here on Sports Canada TV, brought to you by Novus at 7:30 Pacific time, which will be about 3:30 a.m. back in the United Kingdom.
Worth staying up for 2 nights in a row, right?
Why not?
You just adjust your sleeping pattern.
Change the body clock for the next 10 days. Yeah. As I know lots of fans on the East Coast will be hanging in there. It's not a school night, so we're okay, Andy Watson. Saturday night, man.
Good patient ball movement here by the U.S. They look like they're trying to set something up and stack number 15 for the United States.
Conrad in there.
And I think it's not going to be long before you see an interference flag there. Conrad's been held up twice now, cutting through the middle by Ryan Hockey. Great name.
I'm trying to think who our first guy was on that list. It'll come to me.
You'll be posting that on Twitter eventually, I
yeah,
would think.
We'll post the all-name team before the tournament is over.
I think the stall's just gone on here for the U.S.
On the spin, Timmy Kelly squirms inside, hit the post.
Unbelievable move, though, to get by 3 defenders. That was unbelievable.
The way he protected his stick close to his body there and made the hand switch at the same time was impressive. Timeout down on the field. We'll take a quick one as well. Send me a tweet while we got a break at PXP for Sports. We're back in 2 minutes. All right, lacrosse fans, welcome back inside Percy Perry Stadium as we get set for fourth quarter action. 60 down, 20 to go, 10-2 USA, leading Team Australia. And Andy Watson, you being official, made a bit of a boo-boo. It wasn't Frankie Fung, it was...
Yes, Genti Nega. I'm going to forget his last name. I'm going to have to look at my program here. I practiced it there earlier. Nakasuji made the call earlier. Great crease positioning to be able to see the ball go in the net. But Genta Nakasuji, well done, my friend. Well done.
All right. Blow the whistle. Let's play some lacrosse. We're underway here in quarter number 4. And USA in control, up 8.
I would expect we'll start seeing some different looks from the United States as they look ahead to their future games. Although, as I say that, there's Sowers with the ball at X again.
Yeah, they haven't really taken their pedal off as far as resting their starters a whole lot here tonight. Here's O'Keefe with a bomb, and Dobson stares him down. And this score could be a lot more lopsided than 10-2 if not for Dobson.
Yeah, he's
There's
played
another
very well.
save.
He's had some the help from the iron a little bit too, but he's played very, very well throughout this.
Big body in there, head right at crossbar level, so 6-footer.
Out of the Moreland Lacrosse Club in Victoria. Good lacrosse hotbed of Australia.
Yes, I was about to say Victoria, Australia, not Victoria, British Columbia. Our province's capital. Conrad, and that shot goes wide. Here comes the drive from X. Feed into the stack, wide open is Mac O'Keefe, and Sowers with 5 goals, giving him an assist now to Mac O'Keefe. Is that really what makes Sowers so dangerous when he lines up at X like that? You just don't know if he's going left or whether he's going right. And you guess wrong, he's going to make you pay.
Yeah, well, so gifted, and he's if you mark him too tightly, he'll make you pay for with cutters going through the middle. If you don't mark him, he'll make you pay by dodging behind the cage.
See the replay here. It's got it in the left hand now, and defender gives him the left, so he takes it. And as soon as the double comes, he's already facing where the cutter is, so he doesn't have his back turned. So I'd almost put that one on the Australian D to, they sent the double when Sowers has vision.
Well, and the other guy on the far side of the crease really needed to slide on that to help out. So we have a flag down here against Australia. I think it might be a procedure call.
And that's probably the biggest thing for fans that are new to the game. It's not so much about the first slide on defense. It's the second and third guy. So when the first guy goes, the rest of the defense has the responsibility to fill that hole on the slide. And what you're really trying to do defensively is force the offense to make the longest, toughest pass when you're sliding towards the ball. So if that makes sense to you, you want to slide from short, but to fill and replace to force the longest pass and the most difficult pass across the defense.
That's correct.
I don't know if I quite explained that properly, but it was my best attempt.
Eloquent. Australia called for interference after that face-off play.
And they'll go to goal quickly. Dobson fights that one off, and a race for the end line is won by Team USA. And now Dobson got to get back to the rack here as Sowers wants to start things back quickly. Mathias, I think he had an open look. Got another one here as they'll step in. Goes up top, O'Keefe. Skip pass down to Sowers. Now Mathias will wheel it. As they work the right side now, and that one just popped out of the pocket of Timmy Kelly. USA will retain. Big Brad Smith. Sowers in behind. Goes lefty. Inside jelly roll and tucks it home for number 6. How about it from Michael Sowers? Oh no, they're going to wave that off in the crease, and I'm not so sure. I don't know if we can get a replay of that one right there. Yes, we will. Watch the inside roll here from Sowers.
Oh, beautiful
just turned
dodge.
his D-man inside out, and I think actually on the replay, good call there from the referee. Toe on the line. Impressive nonetheless from Sowers.
And of course, once again, with excellent lead positioning, it was Genta Nakasuji. Got the name right this time.
Your guy. Big fan. As here's Australia with a goal from behind the net. Liam Hood just took his man right to the cage and then bounced one past Goss says he goes up against Lindsay, who's been rock solid as a D-midi. But the help was late to come, and Goss was out of position looking for that kind of 10-man ride in the offensive zone. That's something I think USA is starting to work on a little bit just for future games. With this lead, they can afford to kind of roll the dice a little bit, and they're pulling Goss out of the goal to send doubles at attackmen below the goal line to try and get the ball back. But I think that's more for preparation later in the tournament should they need to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that was really the first time we've seen in this game really a miscommunication miscue from the United States. But you're right, probably trying to get prepared for the next games, and why not? Here's an opportunity against a top team to be able to try that out.
Just getting some comments about my inside jelly roll call, Andy Watson. I think Darren Fridge might have been the one to coin that phrase, and I just kind of stole it from him, but not sure where that one came from, really.
We'll have to find a spot on our website for Jake-isms. A little bit of Canadian colloquialism there for you at home.
I got a couple.
The Port Moody bounce pass will be at the top of the list.
Of course.
Jelly roll will probably be in the top 5. I don't know. What are some other ones there,
might
Jake?
Squeak in there. Corkscrew shot. I like that one a lot.
That's
the
shot.
twister. Sub shot, of course. Yeah. Yes. As the Aussie mascot trying to get the crowd fired up. Hopefully we can get a shot of that. There he is.
Super fan, the Croc.
He's got signs. He's got the costume. Getting a little camera time.
And there's number 11 for Australia, Jalen DiCarlo from the Surrey Park Lacrosse Club, urging his Australian fans and family to keep it coming with all the crowd cheering. Again, Australia giving Mexico and Germany fans a run for their money.
Yeah, I heard there was a little bit of a chant-off, if you will, between Germany and Mexico earlier today.
It was wonderful. Despite being down, double-digit goals, the Mexican fans were right there right till the end.
I mean, that's really at the end of the day for these, new nations competing at this tournament. What it's all about is the fan experience and just the experience alone for the players, the coaches, all the volunteers and everything. That it's really what makes this tournament unique is to see those new nations and fans come and support their team. Look out, that one right off the bucket.
I remember from 2014 in Denver, it was the Uganda story, I think, that really stuck with everyone. And I believe it's Kyle Julius was the guy behind the program. And I know he's been on Twitter and Facebook following us and retweeting us and liking our posts. And good on you for all that excellent work down in Africa.
Man, breaking ankles, and in they come. Shot and a goal. Forget about it for Bernhardt. Just left his man in the dust right there.
The Bernhardt name very deep in U.S. lineage with the.
Just watch the juke here.
Wow.
Just forget it.
I was chatting.
Not fair.
Chatting with someone from the U.S. Team earlier, and I guess his father is a member of the Houston Texans coaching staff in the NFL.
Okay.
Bernhardt's, though, very successful lacrosse family.
I remember a punter named Bernhardt, by the way. Could be off. Just over 13 minutes to go here in this final quarter, and USA stretches the lead to 9 now at 12-3. Ball comes inside towards the USA goal and picked up there by the States. And he'll get set up on offense here once again.
2 long poles for the U.S. in the offensive.
Just noticing as I go to my program, Borges.
I really think Patrick Foley wanted the ball there.
I'll get across center as in comes Mac O'Keefe. Australia still talking on defense. And here comes the drive from Mathias as he goes top side. Well, he's got the short stick on him. And Sean Clark matched up. He's taking top side away, but now they just clear the whole side of the field here for Mathias, and look out for the one-on-one dodge now. Here it comes. Got a step, got a shot. And I don't know if Dobson got a piece or not, but it goes wide and out of bounds. It starts to brighten up a little bit more, but clouds just hanging over top of Percy Perry Field here. Not a whole lot of movement. Flags are just dead to the south end of the stadium here. Not a breath of wind to be had. Dunn loads and fires. That one blocked. And a race for the sideline is won by Australia. Good hustle there from Alexander Mercier. Now Panting. Here comes that ride again from USA. Can only go back into the crease once, I believe, with the ball, Andy Watson.
That's correct, Jake.
Purdie Jr. Liam Hood with one of the 3 Australian goals.
Jake, are you surprised not to see more NCAA scouts out here? Looking at some of the countries that are here that maybe have players that wouldn't commit or haven't committed or just maybe unknown.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of U.S. coaches will plan their recruiting trips as a shot in a weak one. Ends up wide. Here's a chance. There's a goal. And it's Panting on the finish as they make it 12-4. But to get back to your question, Andy, I know they kind of have a real regimented schedule of where they want to go and when they want to be there, but I would expect a ton of them watching online. Have to believe it.
Yeah, because that's a good thing about the streaming. So it might save some college athletic teams
Sure.
their recruiting budgets a little.
Absolutely. I mean, and yes, it's important to get out and actually talk to the kid individually and face-to-face and see them live at some point. And you may not be able to do that with Team Australia or England, but definitely with Canada and U.S. A lot of these kids committed already as it is, but you never know if you're going to find a diamond in the rough. So I'm sure if not watching live, they'll go back and watch all of these games at some point. As Dobson in a little bit of trouble, but makes the good ball to the wide side. Now through the middle, that one dropped. And of all the things this USA team has done well, maybe their ride has been the most impressive through 2 3/4 games, or 1 3/4 games. They just caused teams fits on their run.
That's where all the extra time and energy and film, and they've got probably the biggest support staff here, but it pays dividends. And you
Australia
can see
right
the
up there
dividends.
with that department as well. I mean, I was looking at their sideline during the anthems, and they have almost as many personnel as they did players lined up.
It is good to see the sport at this level getting that kind of.
Well, Australia they embrace their sports. Like, I don't know if there's another country that really puts their money where their mouth is when it comes to sports. I mean, they back their national teams and their sporting programs, their Olympic programs, all of it, like no other. Maybe the U.S. In that department as well, but they put such a heavy influence on athletics in Australia, and the dividends that it pays off for not only, winning and getting some national recognition, but the way they mold these young men's lives, and women for that matter as well, the impact that it has on the way you're brought up and raised and learn to accept defeat and embrace winning and teamwork and sportsmanship and all the things that going into playing sports can bring you in life. Australia right at the top of the list for that one.
Yeah, and in Canada there has been a shift with the Own the Podium program to try and help athletes.
Sure,
but it hurts sports like lacrosse.
But they did that, Andy, knowing that they were hosting the Olympics and they pumped a bunch of money into their Olympic program, owned the podium, and they saw the results of it with their best, most successful Olympics ever. But do they do that when the Olympics are in China or Rio de Janeiro? Do they have the same backing and same financing for when it's in other countries and other continents? I don't think they do. And Australia, no matter where the games are being played, are going to back their teams the same way regardless.
And regardless of whether it's Olympic or non-Olympic.
Exactly.
Yes.
Timeout coming out with just under 8 minutes to play. There's my little soapbox for the afternoon.
Yeah. I was going to ask you how you really felt, but I think we determined that.
Yeah. I mean, the sport of lacrosse, and obviously it's Canada's. It used to be our full-out national sport. Now it's our national summer sport, as hockey is our winter sport. But, for it being our national sport, it doesn't get the backing from the provincial, the federal government anywhere near close to what it needs to be.
Well, the federal government
and we still are successful at it, obviously, because we've been playing it. But that's in spite of it, not because we have the training facilities or the finances to hold camps, national camps in both the East and the West, and can afford the travel and all the rest of it. We just don't get it.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a federal responsibility, and, you look at some programs, and a lot of it is driven in the country. The formula is designed based on different things, like the long-term athlete development model, and
then you look at a sport
that reward sports that are more established and have more marketing dollars.
Yeah, there you go. Then you look at a sport like hockey, and they do everything in their power to make sure they have the best of everything for those guys to compete at the highest level, and you wonder why a sport like lacrosse just doesn't get it.
Which makes it all that much sweeter when lacrosse does well at the international level.
And winners of their last tough save there from Goss as he took that one in the midsection. But winners of our last 3 national FIL events, the men's indoor, women's U19, and men's outdoor.
And if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember who won the senior women's title, Jake.
I think Team USA. Yes. Somebody can let me know if you know. You know how to find me at PXP for Sports via Twitter, at PXP 4 Sports, or PXP4Sports@gmail.com. Push on the back and knock down. Flag will come down. Dylan Johnson will be the guilty party. Australia goes to goal, and that shot goes wide as Sims was taken out, and a broken stick down on the play too as Johnson snapped his shaft in half.
Almost exactly in half. That was like the perfect break for a long pole.
There goes $200, speaking of finances.
And speaking of finances, good opportunity to thank all of our sponsors for this tournament. Hosting grant from the government of British Columbia. Novus, our presenting sponsor, really helping out with the IT infrastructure here. Without that, we wouldn't be able to bring you this quality feed from Sports Canada TV.
I get my man Randy Clough and Extreme Threads in there.
Yeah, and if you aren't here in Coquitlam and you want to buy merchandise, you can go to 2016worldlax.com and click on the merchandise tab to get your official gear.
Long shot from Davies, but no backup for the Crocs. As we go under 5 minutes, don't forget, coming up at 7:30 Pacific time, England takes on Canada. And both teams lost their opening game. Canada to the U.S., England to the Iroquois Nation. Both teams will be hungry for their first win coming up a little later on tonight. Will it be dry? Will it be wet? Will be the question, as Canada had to play in a downpour on Thursday against this USA team, and I'm sure would like some dry weather to get themselves going here tonight. Lots of mesh sponsors kicking around. You got East Coast Ice, String King Lax set up shop here. As you enter the venue, you kind of a little marketplace area they got going over there now, Andy. I don't know whose call that was to set it up like that, but it's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool for the fans to be able to get that.
So you pretty much have to walk through it in order to get into the stadium. And I'm sure the vendors love that.
And the team gear is pretty awesome, too, with what we've been seeing. So I'm going to have to go check some of that out. I see the Australians have some pretty cool hats.
I might be checking out the barbecue area as soon as this one's done, Andy Watson. A little growly down below. There's Dox Aitken on the kickback. Around a screen and the jumper and a stop from Dobson. Foot race for it. And Mathias has position. So he thought about having a crack at the open goal, but decided to hang on as we hit 3 minutes. Clock will stop on the scoreboard here inside the stadium, and it'll keep ticking along for you at home right here on Sports Canada TV. We're on the top now. Got a step. And tried to fake Dobson was Conrad, but he stayed with him. And there's Roesner there for the backup for the United States, who will move to 2-0. There's almost an identical score from game number 1. Putting up 12 and stingy again on D, only allowing 4 so far. There's a shot and a stop from Dobson, and a good one at that as he took it off the shoulder.
Yeah, he's looked good in there for Australia.
He sure has.
Good game.
Chance coming, and that one gets ripped right past him. Bernhardt on the smoker. No chance for Dobson as that one found just the inside of the pipe stick side.
I love the fact that I'm seeing Florida on a roster. That just makes me happy. Excellent to see the growth of the game outside of the typical northeastern seaboard. And Bernhardt has so much power. He's so gifted athletically, and just a rifle of a shot. Absolutely no chance for Dobson on that one.
I know the legend Casey Powell has taken a coaching position in Florida now. Obviously plays for the Launch as well. Professional lacrosse in Florida, but Jacksonville, I believe, where
yes,
22 has set up. One with a goaltender. I can't quite remember. It's either Galloway or Geidelman, I believe, who has joined Casey for that coaching staff.
Wonder if they need a play-by-play voice, too.
Yeah, why not? Not a bad place to set up. As they got a timeout down on the field. And probably right around what you see on your screen here as far as time remaining in this one. 60 seconds or so. $13 for USA. As I believe they will have tomorrow off. And in fact, they will. So a day off for the Americans. I wonder what they will get up to on their day off, Andy Watson.
Maybe the gross grind. I know Team Canada was kind of hoping that they would do that.
During a 10-day tournament, you're going to go do the gross grind? Are you kidding me?
We were joking, actually.
I need about 10 days just to prepare myself for that.
And 10 days to recover, perhaps.
Yes,
10
probably
days,
20.
months, years.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know grouse grind, a wonderful, wonderful physical feat here. It's a
local ski hill.
Yes, and you're going up the hill.
So yes, they have the gondola that takes up the skiers, but for those ambitious enough, they have the hike straight up the mountain. And you know what's I mean, I know the Canucks kind of do it for their training camp, the professional hockey team here, and for guys that are super in good shape, they can do it in about 40, 45 minutes.
Yep.
Anything sub 60 minutes is an excellent time up the grind, and I've come nowhere close to that time, just so everybody knows.
It is a beautiful walk, though.
Yeah.
One of the many here in this part of the province.
Yeah, so probably, North Shore Mountains is where Grouse Mountain resides, and probably about, 35, 40 minutes from this location here. Beautiful area of British Columbia, the North Shore. I don't know if we're back underway or not here, but I think USA just going to hold on to the ball here for the time being until they're instructed to advance towards the goal.
This to me is where the stall needs to go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's on Australia to go after the ball here a little bit on their own right. I mean, they are down 13-4, so whether it matters, whether it's 14, 15, 16-4, I'm not so sure, but you might as well get after it here a little bit.
Timer's just come on the field.
So that means 30 seconds or less here in this one. And Bernhardt not pressured, so no reason for him to go anywhere, and he'll just roll it into the corner. And give it back to the Crocodiles here for one more crack. Long bomb down the field to nobody in particular. And that will do it for this one. USA moves to 2-0 with a 13-4 victory over Team Australia. Michael Sowers, the man of the match once again, as he goes off for 5, including an assist, and leads his USA squad to a 9-goal victory here over the Crocodiles. Well, we'll take a break here from Percy Perry Stadium just before 6 o'clock Pacific time, so we got about an hour and a half before face-off for the nightcapper. Canada, England coming up at 7:30 Pacific time. We'll have it for you right here on Sports Canada TV. For now, we'll get out of here. For our production crew, Jillian, Adam, Joel, and the gang from Sports Canada. Excellent job on the production side, Andy Watson. Yourself as well. I have been Jake Elliott, and until 7:30 Pacific time for the fastest game on 2 feet and for the creator. We'll see you next time.